Hey everybody. I think this recording should be better, but this is going to be multi-part. So there's going to be cuts. This is going to be edited because there's a few bits to this that I can't do one-handed, but I'd like to show it all in one video. So anyways, I revisited this. I was not happy at the end of the previous video. I was not happy with how much glue I had to use in here. There was nothing else holding it down but just glue and some pressure, and it probably would have been fine. But it would have also sucked, 6 months, a year from now, if that glue gave way after it got warm in the customer's house or in transit or something like that. So I decided to revisit this and try to come up with a mechanical method. I think I've got it. So this is the Joycon harness from the last video. I've taken it off and it's bent, so ignore that. And this is the new one. I think it should be pretty obvious what the idea here is. So one thing, the base is thicker. I made this one so thin because I thought that I was going to be doing a bunch of wiring in between the bottom of the Joy-Con and the top of this base, and that's just not how that's going to play out. So it can be thicker, and so it is. This is thicker and more stable. I can't even bend this. Still got some room to breathe though. The idea here is that the get this in there. Joy-Con just fits in. I'll screw that down. It needs to be screwed down. And these are just threaded inserts on either side, with the goal being to put screws in from the top right there. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to position this by hand, like rotationally and laterally, so that the top looks correct, so that the stick is centered and it's aligned properly. And then I'm going to put like 2 or 3 little dots of glue to hold it in place. And then from the bottom, I can take a Dremel and drill through to the top with a very thin bit, and then put M2 screws, one on either side, all the way through. And there's enough clearance that the hat shouldn't impact the screw heads, but then at that point, it'll be very secure, because it'll be M2 screws, M2 panhead screws into brass threaded inserts right there. So I'm going to do that off camera and show you the next stage. Okay, so I've got this on this Tartarus so you can see how good this fits. So here's the back. You can see that seam is flush. It's not even screwed in. Come on, refocus. Thank you. And the bottom is flush. It's all good there. I'm going to be gentle because I don't have this screwed down yet. It's just got some like a dot of glue. So carefully open this up. Without yanking anything. So I just wanted to, come on, camera, please. Oh my gosh. Okay, anyways. So just so you can see the orientation here, the PCB is not in. Things aren't wired, but I just wanted to demonstrate how this needs to be oriented so it all fits. anyways, I think that demonstrates that, so I'm just going to move that off. Okay. And what I've got here is this stick, this Joy-Con, and this harness just tacked in with some hot glue. Hot glue is not going to stay because I'm going to put some screws from the top into these threaded inserts. Let me get a pointer. For those of you who are going to do this mod, I'm going to see how close I can get. I want you to see, get that light correct. Inside of here, that's all right. This lip, you have to shave this lip back. It protrudes like a triangle quite far down, so you just have to snip it. I just snip it with some flush cutters, but there's plenty of material to just leave. So this post still has something to go through, but you do have to remove some of that. And also right here, you have to kind of shave this back. It's not a lot, but it is a little bit. Anyways, so I just kind of tacked it down with some glue right there, right there, right there. That's enough to hold it in place. So it's centered and it's aligned, which is the more important thing. This is the remnants of the original D-pad arrow, which is up. So you want to make sure that one of these lines on the stick hat lines up with that. So when this is installed and your thumb's on it and you push forward, forward is the same direction as the D-pad's up was. So yeah. Now the next step is I'm going to take my Dremel with a very small drill bit. You don't have to use a Dremel. You can use whatever you want. You could use a regular hand drill as long as the drill bit is a little bit smaller than an M2, whatever M2 bolt you have. And then just through the back here, just drill through the top, and you'll get a hole here-ish and a hole here-ish, and then it's just put an M2 bolt through. So I'm going to do that off camera. I'm going to drill that out and put screws in and come back. Okay, so I've got the holes drilled and screws in and the hot glue out. So there's no more glue here. Well, there's a little bit of glue, but I just couldn't scrape it all off apparently. Anyways. And that's in from the top, and this is going nowhere. I mean, it's solid. It's got sheet metal screws into brass inserts. So this is as mechanically robust as it's going to be. Anyways, oh, so you're noticing, I'm sure, like I noticed and had a freak out moment, that the screws look just way like off center, like one's way closer than the other, and that's because of how Joy-Cons are. So I need to orient this the same way, like that. Yes. Okay. So the center of a Joy-Con is right here, but this main body is not the full length and width. You have to buffer out that much on this side to cover that screw mount and that. So imagine if this was filled out, the square was filled out, this would actually be the center at that point. And that is why these two look off. They're not, but because Joy-Cons have offset mounts, anything that accounts for those offsets is going to look like this. That's why it looks like that. I could have cut that hole a little bit cleaner. It's fairly clean, but it's not going to resolve that. And for the record, I thought of this after the fact. Give me one moment. Sorry, I should have had this on the desk. This is an unmodified plate. I thought about this after the fact, but I measured and printed this cutting template. So it fits right in the middle there. And you can either just kind of like tack that down with hot glue or draw, like with a pencil, draw that circle, and then you've got a perfect circle to cut with. So this will help you. If you do this mod, this template will be included. So you'll be able to cut that as cleanly as one can cut that out. Anyways, so that's why it's offset. Anyways, I said anyways twice. Scripts would help. I've got too much to do to write scripts. Next steps. So I don't think I'm going to revisit this. I think this is as good as it's going to be, especially considering that this fits inside the Tartarus body without really stressing anything. So the next step is to actually start soldering and wiring. And once this side is wired up, I'll show what that looks like. That'll be the next video. That will not be in this video. And then after that, we need to do the hub, the USB hub and microcontroller wiring that fits inside the main Tartarus body. So I do this side first, this side module. Once this is done, I open up the main Tartarus body and we wire up that side. And then once all the wiring is done, we're done. And you've got a analog stick and one USB cable coming out via the factory cable. So I've done all that before, so it should go faster. This was all new. This was all new and experimental, and I was designing and printing and designing and printing and trying and designing and printing and trying again. I don't have to do any of that for the next steps because I've done that part of the mod a dozen times at this point, so it should go faster. Anyways, let me know what you think. I hope this helps anyone who wants to do this. Let me know.